This episode of Pucks Out Podcast is brought to you by our friends over at Action 24/7, Tennessee's only local legal sportsbook. Use code Pucks Out when you make your first deposit, and our friends over at Action will give you a 50% boost on your first deposit up to $800. That's right, up to $400 extra dollars when you use code Pucks Out. And this week, there are some amazing boosts for you. Follow us and Action on Twitter and Instagram to be kept up to date throughout the week on all the amazing boosts so you can go win some money. And did you know you can gamble with cash? Are you tired of waiting on your sportsbook? You won but can't get your money? No more waiting with Action 24/7. If you want to gamble with cash deposit and withdrawals, get started with Tennessee's local sportsbook today. Check out the link in the show description to find out how. Once again, use code PUCKSOUT. That's PUCKSOUT when you make your first deposit. And Action 24/7 will give you a 50% boost on your first deposit of $800. What are you waiting for?
From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Join them every Tuesday for trivia and every Thursday for bingo. And this coming up Sunday, the week of release, check them out for some Harry Potter trivia. The wife and I may come out there. Maybe. We've got some friends in town. But, Brandon, how you doing this week, bud?
Good, man. I'm going to be honest with you. This is my first beer in quite a while. I've been having quite a few cervezas, if we're being honest. So they did not have, we tried. They did not have Mayday when you're trying to get them to stock the fridge. Sorry, Ozzy. We tried to, go with the contract when you were out and about with people, but Corona, Modelo, and Pacifico. Not even, no Dos Equis, which we were a bit disappointed about because I feel like that is
lots of tequila.
Which it was a win in Rome type situation. We had to cut ourselves off from Rome quite early. We destroyed the road. We're like, destroyed the bridge. Stop letting the Romans in, because if they didn't know the shot that you were trying to take or drink you were trying to take, tequila shot, this will fix everything. So, we drank the rainbow. How dope was that?
Oh,
bro?
yeah.
That was
real good.
We also got a bunch of people to drink the rainbow, which they did end up. I think they did hate us, though, man. I think that we caused lots of trouble. They, kept wanting shots. We started shot runs quite a few times.
Eventually, they cut shots off at the pool bar. They're like, we can't do any more shots. We don't have time to make drinks right now.
Normal people were like, oh, I'll just have a beer and a shot. And he's like, no, because those guys come over and order 32 shots at a time. And so they just think it's free reign.
And then the next party over says, oh, I like that. I'll have 10 of those shots as well. And so they're using champagne glasses as shots because that's all they have. But
lots of shout outs we got to make and stuff to folks. And
for sure. But before we do that, don't forget to check us out on Patreon to get all the show a day early and all the uncensored bits. Check us out on Twitch where you can find us playing some games. Wednesdays are variety night now for me, so I'm playing a different game on Wednesdays. Gonna try and keep it loose. Maybe get into some Conan Exiles here soon, which is a pretty dope survival game based off the Conan the Barbarian series. Let's get this fit check as well, man. Yeah. Most of my clothes are in the wash cycle right now, so I'm just rocking good old fashioned button up. Not even a hat today.
Got all of our clothes washed. I wanted to do more, but got the clothes washed, got the room cleaned up, and I felt like that was enough after vacay, but was still feeling it. So had to rock had to go with the Hawaiian here. And then obviously it's very naturally a crescent roll hat right? Right, everybody? It's definitely not waves. Nobody is to get in trouble for me wearing this hat. So maybe in a few weeks we'll give the real story, but I'm going to give it a week or so. So I don't want to get. We did leave a lot of stickers and a lot of names there, so I don't want to get my boy in trouble. So I'm going to keep it on the low key. So just know, no, we were working on these hats for quite some time, and we finally made it happen.
I didn't get one. You got one. He didn't have one for me.
I kept negotiating. Though was the thing. I bet you if you would have gone over and negotiated, you probably could have got some. I think like 600 pesos or so. Which is. I'm not sure if my math is correct. You kind of gave me a look, and I'm like, oh, maybe I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I want to say because I just looked it up. I think $11 is 224. So
maybe
that's rough.
I was thinking about 20 pesos is $1. So 600 was a $30 estimate. So I'm sure that it was a bigger exchange rate, but hey, well worth it. So,
but all right, let's hop right into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
Some big moves while we were out of town. Chuck and Huberdeau swap. I think this is a huge pickup. I think it's a good trade. I'm trying to think of who I think wins this. I think Florida definitely gets the better end of this.
Yeah, I think Florida as well. This was funny because we got to discuss hockey on a whole different level this week. A little higher brow than we normally get to discuss, and we'll learn why a little bit and get to hear some of it a little bit for our main topic of the show with our interview there. But this is one we did not get to talk about, and obviously one we never really saw coming. This is not of any of the things that we thought could have happened. This wasn't it. I have to say Florida won that. I mean, Huberdeau is great, but it feels like Chuck got a pretty good deal there with the sign and trade. I don't know, man. I guess they're a couple different kinds of players, really. Huberdeau is more of that offensive juggernaut. That's not necessarily going to be that get under your skin kind of guy. That's just going to go out there and win you hockey games. And then Tkachuk is a great offensive player. Don't get me wrong, but I mean his skill set is to be that Evander Kane or that Nazem Kadri style, player that is able to score goals, but also able to, stand up and fight when necessary. So it will be interesting. I think that, but I mean, as far as for team needs, it has to be Florida, right? I mean, this is what Florida was missing in the playoffs, was that guy that, winning games can be done throughout the season by great teams, and playoff hockey is different. And if you don't have that guy, it can hurt you. And I think we saw that with Florida, which we argued, top 3 rosters as far as, in the playoffs potentially. I mean, it can always be shifted around there, but I don't think this is the last that we've heard from old Hubs. So I think that he'll be just fine up there in Canada.
The Hurricanes add Max Pacioretty, which I think the Preds were close to making a deal with that.
You had mentioned Burns. That to me.
Yeah. So that's 2 very good pickups. It's let's see if Brett Burns can get back on his his old track now that he's out of San Jose and with a very good team.
Yeah.
I think this is an amazing pickup for the Hurricanes and puts them a little bit higher on they were always going to be a contender for the Cup in my opinion. But they definitely
saw some missing
a little
pieces.
bit closer.
These are this year.
Yeah, and these are the missing pieces. These are the kind of things that can push a team over the edge.
I think we talked Burns last week, and I liked how he doesn't have to go in and be that top-notch guy. Patches, you said it. I'm a little disappointed we didn't get that guy. I think that's that style of player, that veteran guy. sorry, I had a check. That veteran guy that can join these younger crop of players that we have, but can still score. That's respected. It's something that I think the Preds need. They did get Ryan McDonough, which kind of fills some of those roles, but obviously he's not that goal scorer that you're gonna be able to throw in a line with a couple of your young guys. Olivier, those kind of guys. So hopefully, we can get something else. But like you said, those are two dangerous signings. But I think that we have evened the playing field with Carolina with this next signing that we're going to talk about, which I absolutely love this one.
I love it. El Nino himself, Nino Niederreiter, has come to the Preds. That to me is a great pickup. Yes. It was when it was released, I thought it was going to be the Matthew Tkachuk signing, and literally because they were teasing it was going to be released that day, and then I open up, I get a notification from the Preds. It's like, click here to see the new signing. And I was like, hell yeah. I'm like, so it's like, I love this signing, but when you're expecting Matthew Tkachuk,
it's a little different, but love it. I think we actually did get to talk about this trade with Pete. Right, or not trade, signing. It's a signing, a 2-year, $8 million. Like the contract, he's been there in some playoff, and some playoff pushes with Carolina.
I'm assuming when you say $2 million, $8 million, I assume $4 million.
2 years, $8 million. I'm sorry,
okay.
He didn't get.
I was like,
$8 million total. $8 million total. Good catch though, because that would. Especially since Pete and Claudia are probably going to be listening to this one. We might have got slapped for that one. So, but yeah, I really like this signing. I like a lot. I think we talk even a little bit about where we may get to see him play line wise with Mr. Weber. So like it.
Dallas Stars have a new head coach with Pete DeBoer in their hunt to get back into the playoffs. I mean, this NHL coaching carousel.
He was the first he was the first coach they saw when they walked in, and they're just impulsive. They're like, "Oh, we gotta have him. Come on, little Pete, let's go."
God, it's just I get it. He's a decent coach. I mean, it could work out. I mean, but at the same time, I'm tired of seeing we've talked about it so many times on the show because it happens so often, multiple times this season.
At least it wasn't like Bruce Babcock. I'm combining folks now. At least it's not like Mike Babcock or something. Going in and grabbing Mike Babcock right now would be like all the other coaches have got to feel a lot like all the orphans in Stuart Little that watch the family adopt a mouse. They're like, are you serious? He's a mouse. So the coach house continues. We are going to get that on TV. We have to, because that is one of our better ideas that we've ever had. And we made the podcast idea happen. We can get that kicked off the ground. Arguably not nearly as good of an idea as the coach house.
Yeah, for sure. That about wraps up. Not a lot of news right now. But we'll talk. Hopefully there'll be some more for next week. Let's jump into outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
You got this one on here. The Ocho Returns. Always a fun time.
Yep. August 5th, 24 hours of unique sports content, 14 hours of live events from Rock Hill, something or another. I'm guessing probably some crazy sports group. There will be a live host. August 5th, Friday. So it'll be 24 hours of live coverage on that. Obviously, ESPN 8 The Ocho is beloved ever since it was created and made up for the movie Dodgeball. But I did want to highlight one of my favorite aspects of when obviously I linked the tweet for you so you could look at it and you could see all the info. But if you look at the very top reply to it, it's just a guy that just replies all to all these 5 different organizations. And it's like, great. That was it. That's all he says. He just says, great. No exclamation point. No, great. I'm so excited. I can't believe this is happening. it's like if you're talking to somebody in public and they're saying something and you just want to respond, you're like, oh, that's great. Like, this is what this guy did on the internet. He didn't have to do it. It wasn't necessary. It added nothing.
So the crazy thing also is that, usually tweets, I'm on Twitter. Usually like the most popular ones and the most active ones get up top. That one has nothing.
Great.
This tweet has no traction. Maybe this is just because it's from ESPN PR.
Yeah, probably so.
Instead
not
of
a lot of
actual
PR
ESPN.
Followers. Well, but
I'm going to go follow the PR department.
They got ATSU Joseph, so ATSU Joseph thinks it's great. So that's. But yeah.
I assumed he was a foreigner. It was Atsu, but
I'm looking at ATSU. I mean, honestly, I hope he's a foreigner that doesn't.
Yes, he's from Ghana.
Okay, excellent. Well, then that's completely different. He went and he's like, I'm going to learn a whole new piece to a whole new language so I can tell ESPN PR that what's going on is dope and it's great. But you have to assume, that all of it's in English here. So I don't know. I mean, Joseph, call in, brother. Come on. You can be our first Ghana download. Do we have any Ghana downloads?
Maybe. But it'd be great.
It would be, it's gonna be a good time listening to us. You know what I'm saying? I'll see myself out.
All right, guys, farewell. This has been the final episode of the show.
We would love to continue, but it's never going to top it. So
yeah, that's peak comedy. But all right. Our main topic, we sat down with Preds play-by-play commentator Pete Weber while on vacation in Cancun. So here is that interview now. Hey everyone, we're here with Preds play-by-play commentator Pete Weber. We are not just here, but we are in Cancun, Mexico.
We're vacationing with Pete Weber. Okay, yeah. Say it right. All right, we have decided to do a trip, but he's been super nice and said he wanted to sit down by us, and he met us last night too. So it's surprising that he actually showed up after we set this time.
Pete, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's kind of like, in a way, an episode of television from my childhood. This might be like Gilligan's Island.
Okay.
A 3-hour tour, and here we are, and we had to get shipwrecked here in Cancun.
That's it, man. That's it.
We're a little bit luckier than they were.
I think I'm a lot luckier. I mean, I don't think I saw them bringing free drinks at all to anybody on Gilligan's Island ever. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. But this place is amazing, man. We've had great food. We've had great drinks. And I know that we promised your wife, Claudia, we're going to give her a shout out. She was doing shots with us last night, tequila shots and cheesecake shots.
And she got up on time this morning.
And she was, we saw her. She was coming up from the beach, man. She was partying harder than we are.
She had already had time to take a nap. I had just woken up from my sleep.
I came in here to meet up with you guys for this interview, and she was right off the bat, you need to get this margarita. And I did. Best recommendation I've had all trip. So it's fantastic.
But let's jump right into it. We're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, but let's talk about what everyone, especially Preds fans, the re-signing of Philip Forsberg, probably something that had to get done. So, we'd like to do some softball questions, but let's go with the hardball. How important do you think this signing was to David Poyle's career as GM of the Nashville Predators? Do you think this is something that had to get done?
I think it was incredibly important. Just think, he said there was really no plan B, plan C, plan D, and how much of a scramble that would create. He would be in worse shape than I think Brad Treliving is right now in Calgary, after having already lost Johnny Gaudreau and a very generous offer to him, and looking as if they're going to lose Matthew Tkachuk right now. That's a rebuild, not a scheduled upgrade of various minor resources. So I think it was important for David to get that done, and it seems it was just as important to Philip. And speaking of Forsbergs, who have worn the Predators uniform, today is also Peter Forsberg's 49th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to him. Maybe he'll be listening.
I hope so. I could send it to him.
Please do. Anybody. Send it to anybody.
Peter probably still did the funniest bit I've ever seen. Here's a Swedish guy without accent doing a perfect takeoff on practice. you want practice? He was with the Flyers, and Allen Iverson was with the Sixers, and he picked up on that, and it was a perfect.
We have sound drops on the show, and that's one of the practice. Talk about practice.
That was day one type stuff.
Okay.
Right? You know, like the practice. It's iconic, right? I mean, that little rendition.
That's up there with playoffs.
Yeah, that one's on there.
Jim Mora and him.
Yeah, that's almost as iconic as and he homers out the left. Castellanos out the left. But hey, what a great segue. Talk about Castellanos. You've been in this commentating game for a long time. You're one of the legends, especially a national legend. At what point in your life did you realize this is your path that you wanted? This is what you wanted to do.
When I was a kid, probably 10, 11 years old, growing up in West Central Illinois with a nice Zenith radio on the nightstand, able to get all these sports on the 50,000 watt stations. And I honed in on, my team growing up was the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals. And I heard Harry Carey and Jack Buck and Joe Garagiola song doing their thing and said, boy, this sounds like fun. A few years later, I found out they were getting paid. So I thought this might be worthy of pursuit. So I went after it, and Lord knows now, I turned pro after I finished college in '72, and over 2,500 AAA baseball games, over 3,000 hockey games.
You were with, for AAA, the Des Moines Cubs, is that?
No, I was basically the Buffalo Bisons.
Okay, that's right.
And also Albuquerque Dukes, back before we had to worry about changing names to Isotopes. And the Rochester Red Wings, where I just, unfortunately, by 1 year preceded Cal Ripken Jr.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But do you have any questions?
Yeah. We always, something we have some guests on, something we always want to know. Obviously, you're across the gambit with all sports. What's your first hockey? I love hockey. Or just your favorite memory in
Just
general.
listening to Lloyd Pettit do the Blackhawks on WMAQ. And then later, because of my luck and coming to Nashville in '98, who owned the Predators Farm Club, the Milwaukee Admirals, but Lloyd Pettit. So Lloyd Pettit's in camp with us, and I'm getting all the great Bobby Hall, Stan Mikita, Glenn Hall, and then Tony Esposito stories from him. And I was like Chris Farley doing his bit. Remember when you did the Blackhawks? That was awesome. Doing stuff like that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So, we were talking last night. You're a Notre Dame alumni.
Yep.
So obviously, I'm sure you got plenty of stories from Notre Dame. I grew up a bit. My whole family's Notre Dame. Fighting Irish. We're all, big Fighting Irish fans. I assume you got to go see Touchdown Jesus a couple times.
Oh yes.
Do you have any great memories from one of the storied football?
There's so many because my father went there, and my 10-year-older brother went there too. So, I was at what had been for many years the last loss to Navy, Roger Staubach's season at the Naval Academy in '63. So it goes back quite some ways, and my father had taken me as well to see this guy named Paul Hornick, the Golden Boy, who when he won the Heisman Trophy in '56.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's okay. He did one of the greatest commercials of all time. Practice, practice, practice. Not to be confused with what we were talking about earlier. And Allen Iverson.
Different tone on that one.
Absolutely different. But I'd have to say the '73 showdown at home with Southern Cal, where Eric Pinnock went 85 yards and scored the touchdown, and that paved the way for a national championship season. And then being after I graduated at the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, it was the last outdoor Sugar Bowl because they moved to the Superdome the next year. But that was the win over Bear Bryant of the Crimson Tide to win the national championship.
That's awesome. Well, we're talking about Notre Dame here, which kind of also, again, brings up a segue. They're eventually going to have to join a conference, right? We talk about this.
Did you see what they asked for from NBC?
I don't know.
NBC. We were talking about it last week. I don't think we saw the numbers.
They have told NBC they will be happy to remain independent if NBC will give them $75 million annually on their next deal, which would triple the current compensation.
That's a lot.
Something tells me NBC's still going to do it.
Yeah. And then NBC will then be the partner with Fox on the Big Ten contract. So that will set up the doubleheaders. And I'm not going to say on Saturdays because, as we know now, it's any darn day of the week.
So, and that's you landed exactly where we landed. NBC pays them, they'll stay independent as long as you keep giving us the money.
As long as they're playing those games against USC and Ohio State and Michigan, that's fine. Because like we said, them going to the SEC, sure, that's where the money is as well. But if they're getting the money, they don't have to go against SEC teams. Why would they?
As long as they can still schedule.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
These super conferences, I think ultimately they're going to tie up 25 to 30 teams each and make it difficult. So USC goes to the Big Ten. Everybody's thinking that's why Notre Dame will go there. Mm-hmm. But let's see how this money situation plays out.
Well, that's exactly where I landed. I was like, they would be crazy to join the SEC when the Big Ten is clearly the right choice.
Yes, yeah. Which, for someone who grew up in a family so tied to Notre Dame, Notre Dame was snubbed for years by the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so now it's the cyclical nature of sport.
Yeah. There are very few teams in the college football that can really control their own destiny, whether they're winning a lot. Like if Alabama were to go 10 years without winning anything, something tells me their reputation will go down the toilet. Notre Dame, I mean that's Notre Dame. They can pretty much demand what they want. There's a good chance they'll get it. Yeah. And that just goes to show you how well how they get athletic directors. I mean they're still getting blue chip players. Yeah. And it's wild that in this day and age they can still do that without all those recent national championships under their belt.
Yeah, but there are these cycles. And when I was in grade school, they were going 4 and 5. And so on. But then Eric Arsegian came over. This was the classic. If you can't beat him, hire him. He was the coach at Northwestern. He won 4 straight games against ND. Lo and behold, at the end of '63, he's hired to South Bend. And that's when things got rebuilt.
Well, that sounds like, I'm an Auburn fan.
Yes.
And so obviously my love for Nick Saban is not lost. Okay. But at the very same time, if I got an alert on my phone right now and said, Nick Saban's coming to coach your football team, get a Nick Saban tattoo.
Yeah. And first step before that the entire state of Alabama is going to riot, or one half of the state's going to riot.
Come on in.
My wife and I were at Coach Saban's first Alabama game. Wow. And it was like, I hate to be a Notre Dame application of this, but it was like he descended upon a cloud.
He did. I mean, he had an NFL job. He was fresh off his LSU championships, and then goes to Miami, and he was just never, to me, I never thought that he was going to have success
as a pro.
He doesn't have the personality for it because
you have to be an administrator there.
Exactly. These are grown men that are making more money than you. So it's a lot different than him bringing in a bunch of college kids and them thinking he's, whatever he says goes is the right way.
No, you've got to be ready to deal with the Players Association.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And now, how about the deal? I'm assuming you saw what Texas Tech has done.
I haven't seen any of the money.
To 100 football players, giving each $25,000 in name, image, and likeness guarantees per year.
That's wild.
That is how.
And that's not, and I should be fair here. It's not the school administration; it's boosters.
Yeah, and it's that is what is going to change the landscape of college football. Now, you're going to have your teams, Alabama, Notre Dame, Auburn, Texas A&M. They can keep up. We got boosters that'll pay money.
Yes.
No problem. The problem comes in schools like MTSU and the smaller schools. You really hope that it doesn't.
What do they end up doing?
Exactly. You really hope, because if my understanding is correct, college football programs basically pay for every sport on the campus.
Yes.
And I had people like, well, no, what about Kentucky? Even Kentucky football pays for Kentucky basketball and everything. Yeah. So it really hurts not only the
Kentucky is a football school.
It is. I forgot about the story. Jared Lorenzen. I'm sorry.
The big quarterback.
But yeah, I mean, it totally changes the game of not only college football but all sports potentially. Kids are getting their school paid for to go and go to college. And
have you guys watched the Title IX retrospectives the last few weeks?
I know.
I've seen like bits and pieces.
Yeah, but that did change college sports immensely back when I was in school in the 70s. And it got blamed for everything, like the cutting of, but I think the biggest effect it has had really is college baseball. College baseball with 11.7 scholarships to split among 25 to 30 players.
Baseball's that's an expensive sport too. You don't really realize. Like, Little League, you'll buy a bat, you buy some cleats, it's all good. Pay the $30 to play in the league.
Just wait till the Ohio State, or rather, I'll do an extreme example. The Rutgers baseball team has to travel to USC and UCLA. Think about that.
Oof.
That's rough. But to segue back into hockey for a little bit, obviously we are.
College hockey is my entree.
Nice. We're a little bit fresh now off of the Colorado Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup. If you had to put your money on it, who is your way too early next year's Stanley Cup winners?
I'm still going to give heavy consideration to Tampa Bay.
Me too.
They've made all these changes and still are contending. Colorado. Can I say timeout until I know what happens with Nazem Kadri?
I think that's a big one. I think even if he doesn't remain there, they're still, to me, my heavy favorites. I would not be surprised if we're seeing a repeat matchup of what we got this year. Those teams are just above and beyond especially Colorado. I think Colorado is so much better than every other team.
I think they are too, but I think Nazem Kadri is a big part
for
of them
sure,
being better than every other team because he provides
surprises
that
me
grit.
that I would ever say that.
I know, right? Well, I mean, it's kind of, but he just gives that grit to that team that those skill players don't necessarily need to worry about stuff when he's there.
What he did after a broken thumb.
Yeah, I mean, he's a tough player for sure. So it's hard to not go with either of those two teams fresh off your memory. But
let's put it this way: I won't go with Calgary.
probably not going to go with Calgary either.
Yeah.
I think two teams that is easy to push to the side because of track history. The Maple Leafs and the Oilers, man. I mean, I know that they still haven't been able to break through, but the Oilers did a lot more this year. They looked a lot better than they had previously to me.
They did a goaltending change.
They did, and then we talked about that. That, to me, I mean, we always forget. Connor McDavid is the greatest player in the league, and I don't think that there's anybody that's going to sit here and dispute that. But he's like 20-something, he's like a young kid that
And Leon Draisaitl, isn't he?
Yeah.
No, he's all right too. I mean,
he's one of my favorite Germans.
I'd like to see him score a few more goals. I don't think he does enough of that. I think that could really push him over the edge.
Yes.
So, as much as we love to see her talk all day, obviously, we want to get back to the pool. There's some background noise, but one final thing. We're a little bit off now from the draft.
Yes.
We talked about the draft on last week's show.
Excellent.
What are your opinions on the Preds draft, and who do you think had the best draft in the NHL?
The best draft. I think now we have to consider the draft and free agency together.
Yes,
that's what we did.
We agree with that because
without any question. So by getting Philip Forsberg to avoid free agency, that was highly successful. Now we got to see how these kids come through, and are they going to be able to? Because the Preds drafted quite a few college age players. So that's the real kind of like the baseball draft philosophy of draft and follow. To see how they develop, and that's why we have guys like Rob Scuderi coaching young defensemen. That's why we have Sebastian Bordelot working with the young forwards, and he has a young forward he's worked with pretty well in his own house, who was a first-round pick of the San Jose Sharks and played very well for Team USA this last year in the Worlds. So Thomas Bordelot, who speaks English a little bit better than his father, I should say, but I think that overall, what I have seen is I got to be very happy because of what they did in free agency with the Columbus Blue Jackets. They had 3 first-round picks and Johnny Hockey. Now, I think Johnny Hockey in the state of Ohio plays out much better than Johnny Football did in the state of Ohio.
Well, Columbus is hoping so. Columbus is most certainly hoping so.
But yeah, I mean, there was a young guy at the Predators pick up that you're a big fan
Yeah,
of.
the first round draft pick. I love that pick. What was his Joe?
The name?
Yeah,
Kimmel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
he's
obviously
signed
not,
already.
and not a lot of history on him and stuff. But
No.
I think where they got him, I don't think there was a choice.
At 17, it looked like what we were going to get was going to be deja vu for me because of my time in Buffalo and Los Angeles. Most of the draft had the Predators getting a kid named Jamie Snuggerud, who we drafted in Buffalo, his father, when I was there. And I'm thinking, my Lord, what is going on here to me? But thankfully.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit, but I think the worst draft, and it was by far the worst in Chicago. I think Chicago really blew this draft. Like they gave
Or
up
best,
massive.
depending on perspective, right?
Yeah,
Best for us.
yeah, best for us, worst for them.
If they're truly trying to get rid of Chelsea Dagger, yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully. But hey, Pete, so much for joining us. We're gonna get back to the pool, having some drinks. Anything you want to tell people before we leave off?
Well, I mentioned Peter Forsberg's birthday. I forgot. For those of you with the greatest motion picture ever made in North America, Slapshot. Today is Jeff Carlson's 68th birthday. So the Hanson brothers want to wish Jeff all the best and happy that his brother Steve rang that last bell for cancer treatment a few weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
And is back and strong. Thank you, guys.
Hey,
awesome.
man, thank you. Seriously, we've been talking up this for about a year to everybody that would listen to us. That we got to sit here and chat with you, and it's been awesome, man. We really appreciate it.
Well, I think there's no more bull left to shoot.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, guys. So Brandon Bond, Pete Weber, this has been Bobby Butler. Thanks for joining this special Cancun edition of this interview. And so we'll talk to you guys later. All right, guys. Welcome back. What a great interview. Thank you so much for Pete for sitting down with us. Thank you also, Claudia, for letting us borrow him for a little bit during y'all's vacation. Absolute great man, great couple. Great time there.
Absolute pleasure to meet both of them. They were way nicer to us than we ever deserve anybody to be nice to us, especially if they've met us for an extended period of time. Had a fantastic dinner with them, couple of dinners with them. Really, really enjoyed it. And I think Claudia loves it. That's the key in all of this. So Claudia has been, putting it in Pete's ear that he needs to get, him and Terry on the show with us again. So, fingers crossed, Claudia, we definitely, we need you keeping in the old ear but seriously, one of the coolest things about that trip was getting to sit down and have dinner with the guy that we've got to hear call hockey and play by play for 20 years, man.
Wishful thinking, maybe they can get us hooked up for doing a live show with the two at the Barrel House in Bridgestone.
Why would you say that, Bobby? That seems a little even further than out of our reach, but maybe. I mean, we go and we drink beers before every game, whether we have free beers in the stadium or not at Pete and Terry's. So, I feel like we were having dinner with the man. He could very least get us a corner and a table, Yeah.
But all right, so let's move into joke of the week.
The weird. Corey Perry. See, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
Coming to you from the news article from 1975, but it's not. It's now. The FBI find no sign of Jimmy Hoffa under a New Jersey bridge, the FBI says. You said it best before the show. Yeah. Did they just now think to look there?
Were they not checking? Honestly, it seems like this just better be the yearly update of them checking under this specific bridge. You made a hilarious joke. Like, what if they just found him living under it? Like, he just had a home there. And
he's like, actually, I'm surprised you guys never found me. I wasn't even really hiding.
People
have like credit cards.
I retired.
I don't have the whole TV thing.
I don't even know. I'm just like blasted away. Like, the way that they made it seem was that like nobody thought like New Jersey Bridge. Like there was just like a meeting and they're like, dude, you know, it'd be crazy if they found him under the New Jersey Bridge. And the guy that was responsible for looking, he was like,
he's like, oh, wait.
Oh my gosh, that would have been crazy, Mike.
He's like, wait, was I not supposed to only look in Detroit? I was under the impression that people couldn't travel.
No, he doesn't. We weren't looking for him outside of any. I never even looked, if we're being honest. I mean, I did not know I was supposed to be looking under mob hotspots. Okay, like
he's like, I looked. He's like, listen, I looked under.
Look at this, buddy. I went to Pizza Land. Okay, I went to the Pizza Land from The Sopranos. I went there, not there. Okay, I did the whole Sopranos tour. I went the whole tour. I went and saw Vito selling autographs on the New Jersey Turnpike. I went and saw him. It wasn't Vito. So I was done at that point. What a joke. Like, why is this new? Like, it's a big deal. Like, obviously I understand that it's, where did he go?
Is it a big deal?
I mean, in the sense that
does anyone really care about what happened to a Teamsters union leader that had ties with the mob? Like, he disappeared. Well, okay. A lot of those guys disappeared.
Not actual people. Not like it shouldn't be NBC News. Like, this should be on like some like mafia like website thing. Like, they're checking it out.
r/mafia. Big news there.
No, like this is the 1970s. Just go to New York. I bet you couldn't. I'll bet there's not enough paper currently in New York to print off all the missing files from that time frame. Like, this just seems like why is NBC News?
Better yet, why is the FBI using funds for this?
But but they're not even proving anything. They're using funds to just be like, nah, it's still the same. If you find him, let us know. But then other than that, we're just going to keep assuming from every day since the day that you didn't find him the first time that you still haven't. We don't think that you're coming out. What if in the news article they were like, yeah, we found him a couple years ago? That would be like wild. Like, he's missing again. This is a new missing. He's not under the New Jersey Bridge. That's what we need to know. What a joke.
The crazy thing is that there's a journalist named Dan Moldea who is a professional journalist specifically about Jimmy Hoffa and the saga. The FBI gave him a video call personally to update him on this. Why? First off, how are you making a career only writing stories about Jimmy Hoffa in 2022?
Well, you just keep writing that you haven't found him yet. Apparently, it's very lucrative, Bobby. This guy has a 50-year career just basically saying like, I haven't found unicorns, but like, we're looking. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we asked this question, but there's a whole TV show about finding Bigfoot. Like, and there are people that watch it like thinking like, this is the time. As if the only people that are going to know about the discovery of Bigfoot are the people that watch late night A&E TV. Yeah. And there's like 9 of you guys. And then at the end, they're like, still didn't find him. And then you just go back and you just watch it again, like just in case.
It's like, and they're like, but wait, did you see the teaser for next week's episode?
They might find him. Could be. Yes, but see, like, I see what you're saying, man. I did see the teaser. But it seems like other people would have talked about it besides this guy that lives in his mom's basement. No offense, sir, or no offense to living in your mom's basement. I mean, nobody can afford anything anywhere. But I am saying, if you're at the level in your field of like discovery, first of all, you've never discovered it at all. And you're clearly not an expert, man. So Jimmy Hoffa and Bigfoot, we only need news if you find them. If you don't find them, then the negative is more than enough. I'm just going to continue to assume we haven't found Hoffa or Bigfoot.
100%.
What a joke.
Pop culture for today. I just saw it came out, I think it came out during first off, I do want to start off by saying I eventually want to go to the San Diego Comic-Con. It looks like so much fucking fun, dude.
Me too.
I just want to go and nerd out at it looks so dope.
Here we go. What are we cosplaying, bro? When we go, dude, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
One of my favorite ones that I really wanted to cosplay has really been ruined for me, but I really want to get together a dope Oberyn Martell. You know what I'm saying? The Red Viper. I think that.
I mean, dude, we can do what we did at my bachelor party. The Red Viper in the mountain.
The battle. Yeah, I forgot about that. See, they should have also drank half a keg before their battle. And done it in a living room of a Gatlinburg chalet.
With one person going, don't rip my jersey. Don't rip my jersey.
Don't rip my jersey as I try to slide under you. You try to that was my key. I'm like, oh man, you got me. But like, come on, man, you've got my jersey. So yeah, that would be dope. I mean, there's a few dope cosplayers that I think cosplays that I think that would be pretty cool. What you got anything in mind that you'd be like, dude, I'd love to be?
I think going as like just two, like not like random, like maybe like Kit Fisto and like some other
couple rando Jedis. Okay, yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all. That would be sick. Okay, so you're thinking Kit Fisto. That's a lot of like makeup work and stuff, which I'm going to try to avoid that because you know me, I like to just like keep it. Obviously, cosplay, and you can't just keep it simple, but makeup and all the nine. So maybe I'm going, if that's the case. That's a tough one.
Or just different Thors. Go as different Thors from different universes.
That would be sick. And obviously, this is the best idea that you've ever had, and this is including the podcast and everything. Was going as Ed Norton's, and then have one person in your group go as Brad Pitt from yeah. I see that was good. I loved that. That was fantastic. So yeah, man. I mean, there's a lot of dope. Now that I'm like thinking about it, nothing's coming to mind. But like if you're not thinking about it, I'm sure 100 things are. Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Oh, Legolas. Yeah, that's probably what I'd have to do.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to be
the hardest thing about that Ed Norton Brad Pitt thing is you have to have some fucking balls to be like to cosplay as Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
because like if I show up as Brad Pitt and I got wax that blonde, like if we just show up with what blonde?
No.
Like,
no, we're
all young Brad Pitt.
No, we're clearly like American History X Ed Norton guys, like. Because, I mean, we're not.
I'll be Ed Norton from the first Hulk while he's Hulk.
There. See, yes. See, like that. See, that's where we've got to find our niche. We're going to have to find a good looking friend to play the Brad Pitt. Like, he's probably going to have to be a ringer. We're not going to be able to pull it off at all. So, yeah, I think Legolas would have to be my move because, he's my man.
If you do that, then I'd have to do Gimli.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Yeah. That would be. Yeah, we got to do it. So we're in San Diego Comic Con. Here we come.
All right, but anyway, back on track. We are
Wakanda Forever.
Yes, the Wakanda Forever trailer came out. I watched it right before we started recording. Gave me chills, man. I am super excited. I don't know if I'm excited for this as I was for Love and Thunder because Love and Thunder was an absolutely amazing movie and I was excited about it. But this is a different kind of excitement. This is not a Taika Waititi film. This is not a go and you're going to have some laughs and have a good you're going to have a good time. But it truly feels like we're gearing. And I feel like because it's coming right off of Comic-Con where they released almost all these teasers, we are getting into this saga now. We are getting into the multiverse saga in this new phase. And I am excited. First off, super excited to see Namor. Namor is a super powerful. I think he's considered a mutant. I can't remember. I think he's a mutant technically.
I believe he is, at least according to Strike Force, but they were not always right on point with the lore.
Yeah, and I think in the comics I think in some canon he's a mutant, but either way, Namor is going to be dope. I'm happy with their casting for Namor, but another one, Luke Evans would have made a great Namor. I don't know if you know who Luke Evans is. He may. I mean,
I'll have to look
him up.
No, I'm with you, and I feel like all right. So I want to say this the right way. Luke Evans, I think I know. Oh, for sure. I want to say this the right way. Not the film that I'm most excited for in the phase. Not the film that I think is going to be the best. Not the film that I think is going to be the most critically acclaimed. But in my opinion, the most important one in this phase is how they handled Chadwick Boseman and like the exiting of him and like
the new Black Panther.
What Black Panther meant the first time around. I think because of that, and then we're not going to get to have Boseman again. I think it's that much more important to do this well and not mess it up. You can mess up a Thor movie, and if people hate it, guess what? The next Thor movie, people are going to go and they're going to line up and they're going to watch it and they're going to bitch about that one if they hate it. Same thing with Doctor Strange or Wanda Maximoff. You do this wrong, and it doesn't portray what the importance that Chadwick Boseman, brought to the MCU. I think it's going to be a disaster. With that being said, I don't think we're in any danger of it being poorly done or not according to that trailer, at least. Like I
the soundtrack looks great too.
I watched it yesterday, and when like the transition from No Woman No Cry to like some Kendrick Lamar, like dude, just flawless. I didn't even realize the song had changed.
I didn't realize it was a different song. I was like, this seems like a cool remix. Me, man.
Like I got chills, and like if I had any water in my body when I watched it when I got back from Mexico, I did not. I was dehydrated. Yeah. I probably would have teared up. I couldn't because I had no tears to give. But it was just it looks good. I think. Yeah, I think that
I'm excited for this. So I don't know if you know this. Namor was actually the very, very first Marvel supervillain in the first ever Marvel comic ever released in 1939. Namor was the first villain.
Wow!
It was Prince Namor, the Submariner. Yeah, he appeared before it was even called like Marvel. It was called what was it called? Motion Picture Funnies Weekly is when he was introduced in 1939.
Took you long enough, MCU. We only got 40 some odd movies at this point. So,
but he is the prince of Atlantis, and I believe in many of the comics, and it kind of changes. Atlantis is like on par with Wakanda as far as technology and power.
Yeah, that
because
makes sense.
They've been hidden away. They have technology that the rest of the world doesn't know about. And so I am super excited to see how they do this, especially since I know they are introducing the Doom in a later. Doom is Doom is one of my favorite villains in all of MCU. He is a genius, and he's
powers.
Yeah, like, and he's not just bad. He's not just like I want to take over the world. He's like, I care about my home, and that's it. Right. But also, I'll step up. Like in some comics, he steps up to fight Thanos. He steps up to fight Celestials. And he teams up with Namor, and them team up with each other a couple times. So I'm excited to see that. I really hope this doesn't just be a supervillain who is introduced and defeated in the same movie.
I hope obviously with you having more knowledge of him, have a bigger expectation of it. My biggest hope is this is not I want more Wakanda. Okay. I want more of their traditions and their cities and like all the stuff they do. So I really hope they don't skim out on that. Like, I think we got a good portion of it in the first, but I want more of that, well,
the trailer, if I had to just, looking at the trailer, it looks like we're not going to just see the downtown super, the capital of Wakanda. It looks like we're seeing some like outskirts of Wakanda where people actually have like houses and it's countryside of Wakanda.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want that. I'll build that world for me. I mean, Wakanda played such a crucial role in the last phase. I mean, the entire last battle in Infinity War was fought there, so, and was it Endgame? It was an Endgame. No, they were. Was Infinity it Wakanda? War. The Infinity War, not Endgame, though.
Yeah, Endgame. It was it was fought at the Avengers compound.
Yes, okay. That's. I was just making sure I wasn't misremembering. Again,
I think in Rochester.
You start getting 45s, to 50 movies and TV shows, and every characters you want to make sure. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that world. So I'm looking forward to it. And also, I'll tell you, we talked about it on the trip. You haven't got super into it yet. I am really excited for us to get into and talk about Miss Marvel. There were some misgivings.
I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna
no rush on it or anything.
Yeah,
no rush on it or anything. But we talked about it, and some of your misgivings, while being accurate, I think you're gonna kind of get over them as you progress along.
Yeah.
So.
But and one other fun fact I learned about MCU that you might find interesting. I actually learned it last night while watching this like trivia show. They were talking about it was that call. It's that show actually where like they say something wrong and you have to correct it. And they're talking about Professor Xavier went to Harvard or something. And one guy was actually no, he didn't go to Harvard. And they were trying to guess where he came from. And one guy was just made a joke. No, he went to Bard College, which is a liberal arts university in upstate New York. But now here's the thing, and the reason somebody guessed that is because they knew that in the universe, Jean Grey went to Bard's College because he went to Bard's College, and on the campus cemetery, they actually have a headstone for Jean Grey for like when she died in the comics. Because in all the canon, she went to Bard College. And then somebody was like, "Oh yeah, I was there a couple years ago," and they now have a Professor X and a Professor X and some other like Cyclops. And so the guy said, "Well, the reason that is the person who wrote X-Men, he went to Bard College, and Professor Xavier, Jean Grey, a lot of the mutants were named after the founders and people who went early on to Bard's College. So that's it's both a yin and yang where."
My whole thing was Bard's College like really like this influential? This cat? I guess obviously.
Bard's College is one of the oldest liberal arts colleges in America. Like before America was America, Bard's College was there. It's one of the most prestigious liberal arts colleges in the world. So
that's oxymorons right there. No, I'm just kidding. All of our liberal arts folks that listen to us.
As we sit here doing an entertainment podcast,
stay in school. We don't sustain ourselves off of this, Bobby. Maybe if we went to a liberal arts college, we would have. Okay. Yeah. Should we apply to Bard's?
I typed in Bard's College and it brought in the Skyrim to go to Bard's school in Skyrim.
So what you're saying is Google thinks that going to Skyrim school is more important. Is it Bard or is it Bard? Okay, it's Bard.
It's Bard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, that's what a super cool thing though. Like, cool little fun fact that you've added.
Yeah, just to be able to go like to a cemetery, just you see Jean Grey and Dr. Xavier and stuff like that. But anyway, so that brings us now into our What's Snapping Your Stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
Okay. And just throwing this out there, Chevy Chase also went to Bard College. Yeah. So you got Chevy Chase and Professor X.
You said, that'd be super cool to visit these, gravestones or whatever. That also means we got to go to upstate New York. And unless we get into the college, I'm not in. So I don't want to see them.
Anyway, so coming back from Cancun, we had a layover in Austin, Texas. And let me just say, Texas, specifically Austin, I think this is the second time I've been there, but I hate this fucking city. The people were shitheads.
Okay.
The food was absolutely terrible. When we were in the Cancun airport, somebody who's from Texas was like, "Oh, I overheard him something like, when you're in Austin, you got to go eat like these couple places. Like the food in the airport is the same you're going to get out in the city. Best barbecue in the world."
I was about to cut you off. I was like, "Bro, you can't judge." But when he says food in the airport, same as in the restaurant, then I'm sorry, I'm out.
Absolute shit.
What'd you have? What was it?
I don't know. Meg got it for me. It was something barbecue. I don't know. This is the place that we heard this guy talk about. But yeah, bad. And it's like Texas barbecue. It's too vinegary, and it's just like, it's hot, dude. It was hotter than in Mexico. We get off. It's 110 degrees at like 7 p.m. And it's just like, oh my God. They change our gates. They like, I've got TSA pre-check. For whatever reason, they fucked me over, and they just did let me go through TSA pre-check, which is fucking obnoxious. It's just it's a bad airport. And it's just, it's like one of those things where you have such a great vacation and then something like that just really just throws, a wrench in your spokes right when you're almost home.
Yeah, and we didn't have as nearly as rough of a go of it as you guys because we had a direct flight from Cancun. But, I mean, our flight was a lot earlier. So, we're up at 7 and we're finishing up, packing up or whatever. And that feeling when you get up too early after, hey, look, I'm not going to go drink again. And then it just start like the dry heaves are coming.
Yeah.
Like anything you do, you got to like slowly like crouch down to pick stuff up. So we're going and we're getting through and we're getting in line to check our bag. And like people decide that there's only like 3 express bag checks because the guy that drove us there, super nice guy, brought us all the way in, got us all checked in on the thing, got our stuff printed. All we needed to do was drop our checked bags. We sat in that line for like 35 minutes and like there's families there. And it's just like, why not just leave the amount of family members to drop the bags? Like there's no need for there to be a toddler in this very cramped up line. And they require masks in that airport. And so like I wear my mask if somebody tells me to wear my mask because it's not that hard, but I'm hot and I'm sweating and and I need to get through security, finally get through security. Like, all right, I need to go to the bathroom. There's like barely any bathrooms in there. And then when there's a line for the bathroom in the airport. Like, dude, this is a major international airport. I should not have to wait a lot. Like you go into B&A and there's about 45 stalls in there. You could just go in and hang out and chill and kick your feet up and nobody's the wife. So, feeling pressure from the back, getting hit. And then our plane is a little delayed and then we get on and they're short staffed. And then so we got to sit on the plane with no AC for 30 minutes. And like, dude, and I'm like, dude, if y'all would have told us, I could have gone and got a couple of drinks or something. I thought we were going to be in the air and I could have so I'm hot and I'm mad. And like, so mine plays right into yours of just travelers who just don't pay attention. Okay. I'm a fast walker. I'm a know where I need to go kind of guy. And I'm a understand that other people don't walk as fast as me. But when you and your 5 family members or friends or, torture group that apparently you joined, why do all 5 of you have to be side by side and your bags covering the whole entire walkway? Yeah. And so I go to walk around somebody. And this lady drifted in front of me 2 times, not on purpose, just obliviously. And I swear, I said, Stephanie, so I'm about to cause an international incident if this lady rolls in front of me again. Like, I'm just going to do it. I'm sick of it. I'm hot. I'm sweaty. And so we finally get home. And oh my gosh, just people that just don't pay attention. Like there'll be things coming over the intercom. And then they'll just talk through it. And then they'll say, what? This was supposed to be my gate. They said this was my gate. Well, if you were listening to the announcement 15 minutes ago, Bob, you would have heard it and you would know your right gate. Like it's just, ugh. And then on the ride home, the Southwest Wi-Fi keeps cutting out and I'm trying to watch Lord of the Rings Return of the King. And I'm just flustered by it. So, yeah.
Ours kept going out too on the way from Austin to Nashville.
Kept going there was just like, come on, man. Like, come on. Like, this is why I take you're taking away all the things that I take Southwest for.
And I almost got into a fight in Austin, Texas. We're sitting there waiting for our gate. The plane before us is a little bit late getting there, and ours is there. And she's like, hey, to Nashville, you're gonna leave on time. This plane's just a little bit late. So people are like already lining up to get onto the terminal, way too close. And people are coming off. And the woman, she's like, hey, can I please get everyone to stand back a little bit? We need room for these people to get through. Then she says, hey, everyone, I really need everyone to step back.
Oh, so you got the travelers. You got the travelers that don't pay attention. It sounds like.
And so finally, she says, everyone, please, this is the last warning. I need everyone to step back. People need to get through so that we can get everyone off so that you can get on the plane.
You understand how things work, right?
Finally, she put the microphone down and yelled, "I need all of you to step back immediately." Finally, and then this one dude says, "Calm down, Karen."
Oh,
and I'm like, so I literally, I'm standing
you are
I'm like,
Karen. You're Karen, bro.
And I'm like, all I say is, "Dude, what the fuck is your problem?" And he kind of looks my way, and Megan's like, please don't do this right now. Just please don't.
That.
I'm like, no,
fuck that, man. No, I hate.
She's like, you don't have to be the one to teach him a lesson. I'm like, well, somebody, like, this is why he keeps doing it, because dudes like this, no one.
Turns out, if nobody ever has, apparently. But that reminds me, I'll tell you, that is what I enjoyed about the Cancun airport, was the Mexican workers there. They don't video me or do whatever. Like, I don't care. We were going through the line for security, and there's this family of 5, and the lady, the security lady at the front of the line was like, put your, got to put mask on, says it in English and everything. You got to put masks on. Lady's like, oh, I'm pregnant, so I can't wear a mask medically. And the lady was like, well, no mask, no board. Like, I don't care. I don't care. Like, look, if you can, like, you medically, you're sitting in a country where, depending on where you're at, you can't even drink the tap water safely. And you're going to tell me about you can't fly with the mask? Like, you're flying, lady. Like, how did you get here? How did you get here? It was required when you came in. Yeah, so I did enjoy that.
It wasn't required for us when we came in.
Well, the airport was, but I mean, not on the flight. Not on the flight.
The
Cancun airport requires.
Yes.
So,
Yes. Okay.
So before security, like in the airport, the lady's like, you're not getting in the security line. And she's like, well, I got kids and stuff. The lady's like, what do you want from me? Like, I've got 14 kids at home that I want to make sure I keep this job, so I got to feed them. Like, so I did enjoy their no nonsense, whether it was no nonsense on purpose or they just didn't understand the lady. It was no nonsense enough for me. There was no acquiescing. It was very clear that when the lady said it, this wasn't we're finna have a conversation and then my manager's going to come over and allow you to go through without the mask.
Like, you'll just be kicked out.
Yeah. It was like, dude, whatever. Like, there were army folk like 30 steps from you. Like, I would just grab them and just ask them to escort you to your embassy and let them deal with you. If they want to take you home,
you'd be lucky if you got to the embassy.
That's what I'm saying. So we got some shout outs. I mean, anybody in particular? I mean, Kentucky and Indiana. Kentucky and Indiana killed it. Yeah, they had a great time with them. All our folks from Illinois. Yeah. Illinois. Philly
or Dallas.
Not Philly, not Dallas. I got Philly. I got pictures for y'all from Philly. So
nice.
Of y'all. So shout out to our girl Philly. We're gonna go watch a Flyers game with her because apparently that's the only safe route to do it. Those randos that we went when we went in the club, and they're like Nashville, and I never saw them in my entire life. Bobby, you got that dance circle?
Your boy Braces.
Oh, my boy Jesus. That's my man, dude. That's my man. Everybody, we had such a blast. Everybody was super dope. Another shout out. I got not a coworker directly of mine, but a coworker on another team that's been getting into our YouTube vids. So shout out to you, Amanda. Nice. We appreciate it. That's a place we need to build.
Also, you didn't meet him. You didn't meet him because we went to the French restaurant on the last day. My boy Martin, the waiter there. So we have a reservation for 5:30. The front desk called to confirm 5:30 reservation. We show up at 5:30. They're like, we're not open till 6. And she looks at the paper. She's like, okay, I see someone here put you down as 5:30, but like we're not even open till 6. And so there, so Martin comes. So this waiter comes up. He's like, "What's up, guys?" He's like, "Here's the deal. If y'all want to sit right here, I'll bring you some drinks. Obviously, hang out." And we're like,
Martin gets it.
And so we come back. He's like, "But literally, kitchen's not even fired up yet. Like, can't get." We come back at 6. He's like, "Do me a favor, just ask for Martin."
But I bet you guys didn't freak out or didn't throw anything.
We were just like, oh, okay.
Somebody made a mistake.
And we were like, we'll just go hang out in the preferred lounge until 6. No big deal. Doesn't affect anyone. We get back. Martin's like, he sees us and he's like, Mr. Butler. And he's like dancing. He's like, you guys want some shots? You guys want some drinks? Super fun. You would have had a blast there. It was very hot in the French restaurant. But it was amazing good. They had this like salmon mousse. Yeah, it was fucking delicious.
They did
was amazing.
That was the biggest thing for me was they did such a good job of like, you got to ask some questions sometimes. In an American hotel or resort, you always feel like you're asking a question and you're being a burden and you feel stupid for asking it after you get answered. Honestly, they never made you feel like that at all. Like they walked you through what you needed to do. Really appreciate the Dreams in Natura. That was, they knocked it out of the park for sure.
Yeah. And one final shout out to Claudia for taking that tequila shot with us.
Claudia, my girl.
Yeah. But all right, guys, had a great time this week. We'll see you again next week. For Brandon Bond, I'm Bobby Butler. This has been Pucks Out Podcast, and we'll see you all next week.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.